In this video, we're going to look at the difference between atoms and molecules. We're going to relate this to particle theory. We're then going to talk about the difference between atoms and molecules and further look at elements and compounds before finally looking at the difference between pure substances and mixtures. You remember from last year that we looked at particle theory. So all states of matter, solid, liquids and gases, are made up of very, very small particles, and they're arranged in different ways in the different states of matter. Now when we say particles, particles is quite a general term, and there's actually a few different types of particles. And what we're going to do today is we're going to look under that heading of particles and look at some of the more specific particles that we can have. So firstly, atoms. And now all substances are made up of atoms. So everything, solid, liquid, gas, and all the different solid liquids and gases are made up of atoms. They are small particles, and they cannot be created, divided, or destroyed. Molecules is when two or more atoms chemically fuse together, and we call this fusion a bond, and then they form a molecule. And it doesn't matter whether it's the same type of atoms or different type of atoms. Any time where you have more than one atom bonded together chemically, we call it a molecule. Now there's different types of atoms, and there's about 115 different types of atoms. Each atom of the same type or element is exactly alike all the other atoms of that type. And atoms of different elements are different. So an element, and you know that you'll see the periodic table of the elements, and we'll look at more of that in a later video. But elements show the 115 different types of atoms that we can have. Now, if those atoms are found on their own, they are atoms of an element. Okay, so we can have multiple atoms of the same element. For example, argon gas is something that's found with a whole heap of atoms of the element argon. But we can also have molecules of an element. This is where two or more atoms of the same element are bonded together. An example of this would be oxygen gas. So oxygen gas, O2, has two atoms of oxygen bonded together. So floating around are lots and lots of molecules made of two atoms of oxygen. So that is molecules of the element oxygen. When two different types of atoms or atoms of a different element bond together chemically, we have a compound. So these are molecules of a compound, where we have a molecule, more than one atom bonded together, and a compound being that they are a different type of atom or a different element. And there's lots and lots of different compounds. And these different compounds depend on how many of the different elements bond together, what ratios they bond in, and how they're found in nature. So these compounds form the millions and millions of different things that we have all around the Earth. So some compounds include nitrogen dioxide, which consists of a nitrogen atom bonded with two oxygen atoms. We have another molecule or compound of carbon dioxide, which is a carbon atom bonded with two oxygen atoms. We also have nitrogen oxide, which is one nitrogen atom bonded with one oxygen atom, and water, or H2O, which is an oxygen atom bonded with two hydrogen atoms to make the compound water. All the things that we've looked at so far, so atoms, elements, compounds, are all pure substances. Now, pure substances are only made up of one type of particle. So that might mean one type of atom, like we talked about the pure argon gas before. It might mean one type of molecule of an element, and we talked about the oxygen gas before, or it could have one type of molecules of a compound. So remembering that in that compound it has different atoms that are bonded together in a particular way. But if we have in a substance only that compound, it is therefore a pure substance. So we could have pure carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide is when a carbon atom and two oxygen atoms bond together to make that particle or that compound. But if we have only those carbon dioxide compounds in a particular place, that is a pure substance. So we can have pure carbon dioxide gas. The opposite of a pure substance, the impure substance, is called a mixture. And this is where we have more than one type of molecule in the same place but not bonded together. So for example, in the first box here, we have a mixture of two different atoms of different elements. While in the second box, we have a mixture which has an atom of one element as well as a molecule of another element. So therefore, there's two different things there, mixture. In the third box, we again have a mixture. This time we have molecules of two different elements. And in the fourth box, we have another mixture, which is molecules of an element mixed with molecules of a compound. Okay, so all of these are mixtures. So on an atomic level, so if we're looking very, very small at the atoms and the molecules that are present, there would be different types of molecules or atoms, and they're not chemically bonded, so they're not fused together. In this video, we've looked at particles and the different types of particles. We've looked at atoms, which are the smallest building block and consist of single particles, single atoms. We've looked at molecules, which are multiple atoms chemically bonded together. We've looked at elements, which only have one type of atom. So we can have atoms of an element as well as molecules of an element. And we've looked at compounds, which have two or more different types of atoms chemically bonded together. So these are molecules of a compound. Now, all of those are pure substances, or can be found in pure substances, where only those atoms, molecules, elements, or compounds are found in the one place. The opposite of a pure substance is a mixture, where we might have elements and compounds mixed together in the same place that are not chemically bonded. And that's the important thing there, that there's not chemically bonded, so therefore they're two different things.